Input session. In accordance with the board policy BCBI, public speaking at board meetings, each speaker will be limited to 3 minutes. The community input session will be a maximum of 1 hour or 20 speakers. As it is limited to topics concerning the management and operation of the school district. It shall be out of order for any citizens to attack verbally an employee of the school district in a public meeting. For purposes of public comment, an employee does not include the superintendent or any member of the Board of Education. The board will not allow abusive language, threats, jeers, comments, applause, or shouts from the floor. In the event that happens, we will ask the disruptive person to leave the meeting room. Also, the board is here to listen to input. This meeting is not the forum for the board to respond to comments given that the board would not have had the time to consider or deliberate regarding comments presented here today. If you have a handout, please give it to Ms. Tyson, who is seated to the front in black and green. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Campbell. As I call your name, I will call out groups of 5. And as I call your name, when you get to the mic, if you would, we would appreciate it. State your name and before you make your comments. Our first speaker, Mr. Kirk Lundy, Mr. Tim DeBarber-Layden, Ms. Neva Farrell, Cynthia Range, Mr. Paul Miller.
Good evening. My name is Kirk Lundy. I live in Tucker, and I'm here this evening representing myself as a taxpayer and a parent. Good evening, Board of Education members and Superintendent Thurman, and thank you for allowing me this opportunity to speak. I want to speak this evening about why there is a lack of trust in the school district and why you need to change the culture of the administration. It is sad that a year after you came together as a group promising to address the issues of transparency, honesty, and trust, that outside of this building, so very little change is evident. In all fairness, though, the issues lie with the superintendent and the district employees, but you are responsible for holding the superintendent accountable, so the buck stops with the Board of Education. Communications. PDS 24 no longer replays Board of Education meetings. Video archiving of the Board of Education meetings is no longer done, and recent meetings are not available for viewing on the district website. Where is the strategic communications plan promised in Superintendent Thurman's 90-day plan? A plan that is no longer posted on the website. The former head of the Human Resources Division is currently an elementary school principal. He was moved to the schoolhouse in, this is under the heading Transparency, in fiscal year 2013. Yet the current fiscal year 2014 budget shows his salary nearly $50,000 over the maximum for elementary school principal. So I called him at Jim's recommendation and I asked. And he said, I don't know how budgets are put together, which is kind of a ridiculous thing for a former head of HR to say. He suggested I call the finance department, so I did. Finance department suggested that I call HR because salaries come from HR and are put into the budget from them. So I called the HR department, and HR suggested that I call finance. Do you see why there might be a transparency issue? I'm going to skip on down to responsiveness. The SPLOST 4 Citizens Oversight Committee made 22 recommendations to the district administration before July 1st of last year, which were not completed as of December 31st during their annual report. 22 recommendations to the administration that were not followed up on. On February 28th, I emailed 6 questions and have not gotten a response. Last Thursday, I sent more questions and haven't gotten a response. I included those questions in the email that I sent each of you today, but probably too late for you to have read. I propose using the balanced scorecard as a tool and not just posting it on the website with NA in all of the categories. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Lundy.
Hello, my name's Tim DeKalb, as a few of you know by now. I just want to go back over why I originally came here back in September. We had 6 goals the Briarcliff Coalition wanted to accomplish. First, we wanted to secure the building from the weather. That has been done, and since it's been secured from the weather, there's only been 2 more windows broken out. So I think you really did good by boarding up the windows that were already broken. And for this, I definitely want to thank Mr. Thurman for all the help he gave. The next thing we wanted to accomplish was remove the graffiti from the building. The graffiti has definitely been removed, not once, but twice. So once again, Mr. Thurman, I want to thank you. Third thing we want to do is clean up and maintain the building. That, once again, has been accomplished, and once again, Mr. Thurman, I want to thank you. The fourth thing was secure the building from intruders. We now have an alarm and video there. So that is a major accomplishment. I think you're going to start seeing improvements actually on what's going on with the building. The fifth thing is get a tour. We all wanted to be able, all the alumni wanted to be able to get into that building just to look, just to reminisce. And once again, Mr. Thurman, thank you very much. He accomplished that for us last week. We had a meeting that we had, it was about a 30-minute meeting. I'd say 20 minutes of it was a very boisterous meeting, and about 5 minutes we accomplished what we wanted. The sixth thing that we want to do is reuse that building. I don't know how to express it right, but I do believe this is a very obtainable goal. I think if you look at that neighborhood, you look at that community, the Board of Education has sort of forgot about it. If you go back in, you look at, how much development has gone on, I think there's a need for a school there. May not be a high school, it may be a middle school. It may even be expansion of your international school. I don't know. But once again, I want to thank Mr. Thurman personally for all the help he has given me. Appreciate it.
Thank you so very much, Mr. DeKalb. Yeah. Mr. Thurman wants to give you extra time. Mrs. Farrell.
Good evening. My name is Neva Farrell, and my daughter is a student at Tucker Middle School. And it's very hard to schedule a meeting with the decision makers of the DeKalb County school system. Therefore, I'm addressing the school board with my issue. And my issue is school choice. My daughter has always attended decent schools at DeKalb County, including Bowie Theme School and Tucker Middle School for the last 2 years. Now it's time to go to high school. And we find out that we have to return to our home school, which is MLK in South DeKalb County. For several years now, I have struggled to get and keep my daughter in a better school. We all know the failures of South DeKalb schools. We all know about the disciplinary problems at the school. Channel 11 just did a special on the disciplinary problems. And MLK had 202 incidents of fighting and 114 cases of disorderly conduct. It's only 180 days in a school year. So if you have 202 fights, how can a student learn anything with such foolishness going on in the school system? So, the graduation rate at South DeKalb schools was published in the AJC as well as your website, and we know the disparity in the graduation rate from the northern side of the county to the southern side of the county. So if you look at the school choice brochure, you will see that only schools in South DeKalb County is on the school choice. I'm trying to run from South DeKalb. I'm trying to get away from South DeKalb schools. I want a better education for my daughter. I want an equal playing field for my daughter. When you look at MLK career path that you all set up, their career path is engineering, web design, digital technology. My daughter's career choice is broadcasting. You do have that at Arabian Mountain. You do have that. But I'm on a waiting list to get in Arabian Mountain, just like several of the other parents in that area. You do have it at Miller Grove, but I'm number 45 to get into Miller Grove. I mean, there's a problem in South DeKalb schools that needs to be addressed. So since I've been unable to get a meeting with anyone, I'm asking for a meeting now so I can discuss the issues of my daughter's education and remaining on the track that she's on. She's on a good track at Tucker Middle School, trying to go to Tucker High School. And now I'm being told, because I'm out of district, we can't go to Tucker High School. We've done the last 2 years at Tucker Middle, so why can't we just transition over? Columbia Middle School, if I was there, I could transition over to Columbia High School. If I was at Druid Hills, I can transfer over to Druid High School, so why can't I transfer over to Tucker High School? And I'm requesting a meeting with everyone, anyone who will listen to me to discuss my issue.
Thank you for coming, Mrs. Farrell.
Good evening, Board. My name is Cynthia Range, and I have given you some handouts to help you see the issue that I will be discussing today. My name is Cynthia Range, and I'm a DeKalb County resident and passionate parent. I've lived in DeKalb County and have paid property taxes for 17 years. I became a parent 4 years ago, and now that my child is ready to attend public school, I am extremely upset and concerned about the lottery system in DeKalb. I am from up north, and when it was time for me to go to school, we just enrolled in my neighborhood school. My admission to an education was not based on a gamble, which is the lottery system. I don't like the quality of educational test scores in South DeKalb versus North DeKalb, which doesn't have a lottery. I have to hope and pray that my child is picked to go to school, which is less than 2 miles from my house. Many of the schools in the school choice program are only satisfactory. Why is it such a disparity in the test scores in South versus North DeKalb? Why isn't the board concerned about that and trying to put our children on the same educational playing field as the children in North DeKalb? My taxes are just as important as to this county as theirs. Why should I have to live in a particular zip code to get quality education for my child that should be accessible to every child? My daughter was just selected to go to Allgood Elementary, which is a mile from my home. While I am relieved, I am also speaking on behalf of the hundreds of parents in DeKalb whose child did not get picked. It is a travesty that we have to go through these extremes to get our children in school. I cannot afford to continue to pay private school. It's eating away at my child's college fund. I urge you to find a better way to allow every 4- and 5-year-old to go to school without having to rely on the lottery system. My handouts show you that the last 2 State of the Union addresses of our president stresses the importance of early childhood and pre-K. It says a zip code should never determine the quality of a child's educational opportunities. Yet studies show that children from low-income families are less likely to have access to high-quality early education and less likely to enter school prepared for success. By 3rd grade, children from low-income families who are not reading at a grade level are 6 times less likely to graduate from high school than students who are proficient. Often the high cost of private school and lack of public programs also narrow options for middle-class families. Despite the individual and economic benefits of early education, our nation has lagged in its commitment to ensuring the provision of high-quality public preschool in our children's earliest years. I am asking all of you to consider, you have children as well, and I'm sure you want the best for your children, and we want the best for ours, and I ask that you do your best to make sure we get that. Thank you.
Thank you for coming, Mrs. Range. Mr. Paul Miller. The next set of 5 is Cheryl Miller, Angela Brayton Stallworth, Marvin T. Sapp, Sandy Percat, Tiffany Jennings.
Good evening. I'm a little taken aback by what I just heard because I'm here practically to say the same thing, and I don't know where you think I live. I probably look like North DeKalb. My board member from the previous board called me South DeKalb. I live in Tucker, where some of the other people here tonight are from Tucker. I guess we're Central DeKalb. I don't even know if that's a real location. I'm in the same situation where parents in Tucker are desperate to get away and not send their kids to Tucker Middle School. I don't know what it is with Tucker Middle School. It sounds like there's other parents that are trying to get into Tucker Middle School. I was a parent in 2010-2011 school year. My baby was in pre-K, she's 4 years old. And I'm still mad. I'm here today. I took her, we're in private school now, and all of our money is going, my husband is having to work 2 jobs to go to private school. To send my baby to she's in 2nd grade now, she's 7 years old now. And we feel like we were intentionally driven out of our school. And I'm not the only one. There's other parents of children that followed after us. Once they found, I want to talk about parent involvement and enlightened self-interest, because I know those are important catchphrases to Superintendent Thurman, and I believe in those things. But this is what you get when you ask for involved parents. If you want us to be involved, we're not just going to be involved as far as accepting something that's not right. Our neighborhood school should serve our neighborhood children, and it doesn't. They were going to put a cell phone tower, and that's what I was actually here to talk about, a cell phone tower at our school, which would have probably closed our school. Enough parents would have found other ways to go to other schools. The principals can just transfer your kid to another school instead of having to deal with the bully problem. I mean, there's so many kids. Our pre-K class had 20 children in it, and I think 18 of them are no longer at the school. Nobody in our neighborhood, the kids are moving away. There's cell phone towers. I've been trying to advocate for something that will be a lasting change so that no one has to go through what I've been through to try to prevent the tower from going up at my school, informing other communities that it was going to go up in their neighborhood. Their property values were going to go down. There's health risks. And I've now learned that if you plot those cell phone towers on a map, they outline the city of Lakeside and the city of Stonecrest. So the agenda for cell phone towers has nothing to do with education, and it never did. And I'm hoping that this board wants to rectify what a corrupt board did to move forward their own agenda that had nothing to do with my school or my neighborhood. In fact, we were going to be left on the outside of the city, and our schools were going to suffer as a result. So I have a resolution, and it's in writing, and I gave it to someone to hand out to you for later. So please consider it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Miller, for coming tonight.
Hello.
Hello.
My name is Alina Bratton, and I attend Reed High School, where I am a junior. I have been able to benefit from education at Reed High School, which, however, could be improved if the district will provide adequate support to the administration with timely replacement and update of books, as well as technological equipment and software. The administration has made an effort to modify and make adjustments for the lack of accommodating educational supplements and services needed. However, the efforts are not great enough because of the lack of timely responses from the district to ensure the school is provided with replacement books and access to technology. At Reed, we are encouraged by our educators to do our best and improve to excel academically. The concern is we can only do so much of what we are given. Reed has always been on top, whether we are overcrowded and underrepresented, or we are at a respectable peak and still underrepresented. Because we have educators who believe in us, we believe in ourselves. Because unlike other schools who have the best and are adequately represented, we have the support of the pilot program, where we are the only students in DeKalb County who go to highly represent at Student Advocacy Day at the Capitol, where we lobby for legislative issues affecting our education. One issue at the forefront is the deplorable condition of our textbooks. As you can see here, we have books that honestly, this is how our classrooms look every single day. There are points to where we have to sit 2 to 3 people to a book. Some pages don't even start at page 1, they start at page 100. And I feel that we have the right to have the right books, just like Tucker High, Druid Hills, Lakeside High has. We have that right, and I feel that you should give that to us. These problems are costing me my education and my right to learn. From the time we are young, we are told that education is pivotal to our success. But it is the place that we're supposed to be getting educated where we lack the basic necessities that are spending time to improvise for the lack of it. Our technology is outdated. I believe that we deserve the same type of education. And with that being said, I'd like to strongly encourage you all not to turn the other cheek on these issues. Don't put it on the back of your files, and don't put it on the side of your desk. The time to answer these and to get answers to these questions is right now. The purpose of life is to contribute in some way to make things better. So the question posed to you is, what are you going to do to improve the education at Redan High Schools and schools like us? You have an open invitation to come to Redan, and I look forward to seeing each and every one of you in our schools very soon at 5247 Redan Road, Stone Mountain, Georgia. Thank you.
Thank you, Alina. Mr. Marvin T. Sapp.
Good evening. My name is Marvin Sapp. I attend the Great Redan High School while I'm a junior. I am a member of the Redan Blue Thunder Marching Band, where I'm head section leader of the drumline and responsible for leading my section and instructing them to become better musicians. If you ever heard of the Blue Thunder Marching Band under the direction of Mr. Moore, you will know that we are the best in the land. But I'm an honor student, and most importantly, I'm a member of the PILOT program. PILOT stands for Preparing Innovative Leaders of Tomorrow, and it was founded by the amazing Mrs. Sandy Burkett. I am a member on the legislative team where I spoke and lobbied at Youth Advocacy Day for the Georgia State PTA on issues including increasing graduation rates in Georgia. I am also a student for Team Talkback with DeKalb Lawyers Association representing the PILOT program. The PILOT program is the only program in DeKalb County offering students this legislative exposure and preparing us for civic responsibilities. How has DeKalb County school systems benefited me, and what have I gained? To begin, I am surrounded by teachers who are always encouraging me to stay on the path to success and who have provided me opportunities which will benefit me in the future. As a student in DeKalb County, I am now a key leader in one of the greatest bands in Georgia. I have been selected to go on a tour of London and France. In the fall, I will be enrolled in a dual enrollment program where I will receive college credits and study a trade of my interest and earn both college and high school credits. This is how DeKalb County school systems have benefited me. I thank you for the opportunity to express myself on the exceptional education and opportunities from the PILOT program and DeKalb County school systems.
Thank you very much for coming, Mr. Sapp. Mrs. Burkett.
Who loves you?
We love you.
Good evening, board members, Dr. Thurman, the DeKalb family. If you did not know, I'm Sandy Burkett, graduate parent of the great Redan High School and founder of the successful PILOT program and home of the Blue Thunder Band, where I'm proud to say we still have the prophet, Principal Greg Goodwin. I am more excited today than ever for the accomplishments of the PILOT program and our district overall. We are approaching the end of the school year, and we are pressed to get things done. But the PILOT program continues to make great strides and improve academically while serving schools and the community. I did not know when I last spoke about the recognition that the board and Dr. Thurman for the now Gregory Goodwin Blue and Silver Diamond with special recognition for Coach Pruitt. It took us 30 years, and now we have 1 year with this new administration, and we have what we need is for the Blue Diamond. We make it happen, and I thank you for being able to recognize us in 1 year. The pilot program has just completed another successful legislative event with Teen Talkback, thanks to the DeKalb Lawyers Association. If you are missing these events, you ain't seen nothing yet. Just wait until the tallies are in for the scholarships in June. I challenge any group to greet me. Kudos to all basketball teams competing in the finals, but if you did not know, the girl Redan Raiders won state. Thanks to the support of teachers who are underpaid, still we have 9th and 10th graders exposed to high technology and photography. Don't start your spring break without attending the William E. Perkett II Talent Show for the Scholarship Foundation. Thanks to Miss Amy at Columbia High School and her staff. If you cannot make it, we'll accept all donations. I have flyers for you, so if anyone needs any information, I have it here for you. Thanks, Mr. Shutton, who continues to support children everywhere. We have a pilot meeting tonight, so I'll have to be running, but remember, I love you madly.
Thank you so much for coming, Mrs. Perkett. Tiffany Jennings.
Good evening, school board members, Dr. Thurman, ladies and gentlemen. I am Tiffany Jennings, a 10th grade student attending DeKalb School of the Arts, where I major in dance and minor in drama. I am a 5-year member of the pilot program and a 4-year member of the legislative team, where I have lobbied for arts and education and seeking new legislature for driver's education in all high schools. I am also a member of the 2014 PAGE program for the Georgia House of Representatives. I am proud of the education I have received in DeKalb County schools and exposure in the pilot program. I am multi-talented, work hard academically, and have lobbied for the past 3 years supporting arts and education. It is very important to me that funding and emphasis be maintained for the arts and education and high standards for training and studies to continue. Nowhere else in the state would teachers work to provide me with competitive academic education and the advantage of theater technology with my dance to ensure I have complete exposure to the theater while meeting academic objectives coupled with my vast exposure in the pilot program. Despite the overwhelming evidence that the arts generate economic activity, fuel innovation, and create vibrant communities, as evidenced in the DeKalb community, at DSA, we have department chairpersons over multiple departments, as well as teaching classes. Congress funds the arts through the National Endowment for the Arts and is mere 47 cents per citizen, less than $1. We do not come close to that ratio for teacher per student at DSA, yet we are expected to achieve a requirement by the state. Is that ratio equitable? What outcome can the district continue to expect for academic success and a maintenance record for the greatest performers in the land? Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Jennings. The next 5, Ms. Nakia Pennant, Mr. David Shutton, Sydney Kilpatrick, Taylor Wilson, Katrina Robinson.
Good evening. I am Nakia Pettit, a graduating senior at the great Redan High School. I would like to take this time to thank the DeKalb County school systems for exceptional education I have received from pre-K to my current grade. This education has led me to become an high-achieving 12th grader. As a DeKalb County student, I have led the academic force and represented DeKalb County as a super scholar. While I have achieved academically, I continue to participate in various organizations and perform community services, which allow me to remain well-rounded. I'm a member of Ladies of Redan, the vice president of my local FBLA chapter, and the former 2013-2014 North Metro Area Vice President for FBLA. I'm a member of the pilot program, a member of DeKalb County Student Advisory Committee, and an ambassador Girl Scout. The Great Reading High School has provided me with a multitude of opportunities to prepare myself for the future by offering free SAT workshops, writing workshops, and helpful critiques, college fairs, leadership internships, and scholarship workshops. The administrators see that we are fed a wealth of knowledge and valuable experiences. The organizations at the Great Read-In, such as FCCLA, Meta Read-In, FBLA, and the pilot program, for example, allow the student bodies to acquire and demonstrate leadership skills while earning community services while doing so. These organizations prepare students for their future by offering vital information and providing real-life experiences, such as speaking before the Board of Education. I believe I have received a good quality education and have been prepared for a successful future. With all of these opportunities offered by the DeKalb County school system and the Great Reading High School, with a principal who has a vision, Mr. Gregory Goodwin, students will receive the ultimate competitive package for an education beyond measure, they will carry with them every day. Thank you for all that you have done for me and the students in DeKalb. Thank you for this opportunity for sharing my appreciation for the educational experiences before I graduate this wonderful system. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Pennant.
David Sutton speaking on behalf of the Organization of DeKalb Educators. Good evening, Dr. Johnson, Mr. Thurman, and members of the board. I first want to thank Dr. Bradshaw for working cooperatively with us to solve the concerns of the staff at one of his schools. We're on the way to resolve that rather than make a big deal about things publicly. I also want to thank the board for putting a change to policy JBCC on the table today concerning student assignment. For several years, I've come every year since the policy was changed to ask that teachers and other staff members be allowed to send their children to schools in the feeder pattern, so thank you. Our budget priority, of course, is the same as yours, to eliminate the calendar reduction days, and hopefully, as some of you pointed out this afternoon, may even get a 1 or 2% COLA. I thank Mr. McMahon for pointing out this afternoon that a starting teacher in DeKalb makes $40,000, in Atlanta $44,000. 12 years later, the teacher in DeKalb, after 12 years, is caught up to the first-year teacher in Atlanta is making $44,000, while their counterpart in Atlanta is making $56,000. The liquidated damages of $750 really is a drop in the bucket when you're going to get a $12,000 pay raise. I understand Mr. Thurman's point about teachers abandoning their contract and violating the code of ethics, but what about the principals, the HR directors, the superintendents, and the boards of education that are also violating the code of ethics by hiring people under contract? If we're serious in DeKalb County, you need to go after the school systems who are breaking the code of ethics and get them on liquidated damages, and that'll put a stop to that. It used to be school systems respected the contracts of other school systems. Now it's a no man's land. I also want to urge that the salary cuts to counselors, many of you are not aware that 3 years ago counselors took an additional 11% pay cut over and above the furlough days. And that was deeply distressing to the counselors and very much hurt the morale. We'd also like to see the cuts in the educational media program to educational media specialists as well as media clerks be restored, because that's had a devastating impact on the schools. And last but not least, deferred maintenance. Deferring maintenance is really causing some long-term damage to the school system, and it's going to cost a lot more in the long run. And I also want to say the schools in South DeKalb are getting a bad rep because I spend a lot of time in the month of March every year going in and out of schools helping students with scholarships. I've been to MLK at least 10 times. I haven't witnessed any fights. I was a chaperone for the students in Athens that went to FCCLA. It was the most best behaved group of kids I've been to Athens with. We probably had several hundred children in Athens competing at the state FCCLA level. There's a lot of good things going on in South DeKalb, and we have to stop focusing on the negative and start looking at the positive. It's not as bad as everybody says it is.
Thank you, Mr. Sutton. We appreciate that. Sydney Kilpatrick.
Good evening, school board members and Dr. Thurman. My name is Sydney Kilpatrick, and I'm a senior at Columbia High School. I'm involved with the band program where I've excelled musically, and I've been accepted to several colleges and universities that include South Carolina State University and Alabama A&M. In addition to that, I am a new member of the pilot program. As a member of Pilot, I am able to have the privilege of lobbying on legislative issues and the experience and exposure to operations designed to prepare me for the next phase of my life in preparation for my future civic responsibilities. I am also gaining opportunities to enhance my education. I would have never had this type of exposure tonight had it not been for Pilot. Being a student at Columbia High has provided me with a great education and related service experience. As a member of the pilot program and as a student of Columbia, I have learned how to become active outside of the classroom and display my assertiveness and creative skills. I'm very fortunate to receive such a quality education at a school like Columbia. I'll compliment our principal, Ms. Amy, because our principal has had the vision to request new computers, which were provided by Mrs. Tyson and her team. This may seem routine to others, but it was a step towards success that students at Columbia needed. We have new workbooks, and our teachers care for our education just as much as we do. I've been prepared for a bigger and better institution of learning just by attending Columbia High School. I discovered that my passion was psychology while attending. Having been accepted to several colleges, I have not made a final choice, but with my academic endeavors, I plan to obtain my doctoral degree. Now soon to be a graduate of Columbia High School, and with the support from the pilot program, has helped me tremendously because I now know how to execute my goals and plans to higher learning. Thus, show the world the advantages of receiving an education from DeKalb County School District. I want to say thank you for giving me the best education and giving me a firm preparation for life. And please come out and support the pilot program talent show on Saturday, April 5th at none other than the Columbia High School Eagles Auditorium at 7 p.m. Start your spring break right with us. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Kilpatrick. Taylor Wilson.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
I attend the Great Miller Grove High School, where I am a senior. At school, I'm a part of the Senior Chorus, International Club, Drama Club, and the Miller Grove High School tennis team, where I am the captain. I play singles one, and I am undefeated so far. Just last summer, I was fortunate to attend the U.S. Open, where I spoke to numerous tennis professionals, and I also attend tennis camps each summer, such as the Georgia Tech tennis camp. Academically, I have been awarded the Georgia Merit Scholar Award based on my test scores. I am ranked in the top 5% of my graduation class. I have been accepted with scholarships to many colleges and universities. I have chose to attend Tuskegee University in the fall of 2014 on an academic scholarship. I'm a 4-year veteran member of the PILOT program, which stands for Preparing Innovative Leaders of Tomorrow. In the pilot program, I have been a member of the legislative team for 2 years while I lobbied against bullying and the delivery of sex education back into schools. I am also a member of People to People, where I was fortunate to have the opportunity to travel to Britain, France, and Italy. I am a registered voter and poll worker during elections representing the pilot program. I believe that I'm adequately prepared for the next phase of my post-secondary education to become a veterinarian. I have accomplished the Merit Scholar due to the academic preparation from the DeKalb County Schools coupled with the legislative team. They have helped me with my development into a responsible, well-spoken individual. I encourage legislators and the educators to fight harder for education and education opportunities for the students I leave behind. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Wilson. Katrina Robinson.
Good evening, board members and Superintendent Thurman. My name is Katrina Robinson, and I'm the parent of an 8th grader at Ronald E. McNair Middle School and a member of the COPS program at the school. COPS stands for Concerned Observant Parents in School. We established this group so we as parents could be more active and involved in our school and children's education. I'm here this evening to speak briefly about the good things that are going on at McNair Middle School. For instance, did you know that our students have made a 19% increase in writing scores, and this is the highest in the county? We now have a committed principal who has gotten our school under order. The culture of the school has changed. We have more involved parents, and our parents are experiencing success. Even when the news media tried to paint McNair Middle School as an unsafe school, our parents in an interview stated that things have changed and they are proud of the school. We have also had visits by the Department of Education who has verified that McNair Middle School has made changes for the better. This is great news, but we are still faced with some challenges. Our building is very old. It was built in 1958 and it was once a high school. The setup of the school is not conducive for the middle school students. There are leaks in the bathroom, heating and cooling units constantly have problems, and the sewage gets backed up along the playing fields, which causes the plumbing to be out for weeks. We are often faced with having to wait long periods to get parts for broken fixtures in the old building, and sometimes even parts no longer exist. Our students need help in many areas. We need more school personnel, such as another campus security officer. We also need more counselors and more teachers to offer more classes to our students so that we can ensure diversity. The only year McNair Middle School made AYP was when things were in place. And in order for our school to thrive and for our students to be successful, we need the tools to do so. McNair Middle School was slated to have a new building in 2014, and here we are in 2014 and no new building. We were a part of SPLOS 4, and before the last board was removed, we were pushed back from having our new building. So now we have been told that it won't be until 2017 for the new building, but that is totally unacceptable. Our students deserve better, and we will continue to fight for our new building now. We have had numerous visits from Mrs. Ziegler, our Region 5 superintendent, who has come to support us in our monthly Lunch and Learn parent workshops and other meetings, and her enthusiasm for Region 5 has really ignited our parents. We appreciate her support. Now, you say Region 5 is a priority. Well, me, myself, and the other concerned parents here that showed up this evening would like to see your efforts. Thank you for the time.
Thank you, Ms. Robinson, for your presence and your comments. We have time for 3 alternates, and I will call your name. Mrs. Zipporah Roberts, Terrence Pate, and Nakisha Pate.
Good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Zipporah Roberts. I'm here to speak on behalf of Redan High School. I have not spoken to anyone at Redan High School, nor have I spoken to any school system employees about my concerns regarding Redan, nor any school board members. I was at Redan High School this weekend, and I was able to browse around and take a look at the status of the facilities. It is a shame as to what has been done to Redan High School, or the lack of, regarding construction and renovations. Redan was left out of all of the preceding SPLOS for renovations. Nothing has been done to Redan since I was on the board in 2010. There was a plan to fix many areas at Redan that have been neglected for many years when I went off the board. So did all needed plans for renovations went off the table. One thing had been fixed at Redan was more new carpeting had been placed in the media center for the 3rd time in 5 years. So apparently the leak in the media center was successfully fixed. All of the other things and areas are in the same state of disrepair. The front office still has not been renovated. The old beat-up, non-matching doors are unrepairable, and they have been there since the school was built. The wide crevices in the floors are unrepairable and seemingly look as if they are widening. Redan deserves more and better than what they have received, just like Druid Hills, Chamblee Charter, Lakeside, Tucker, Redan needs to be gutted and appropriately renovated. They did receive a new art building, but that is like adding a new room in our county Seminole landfill with everything else in the surrounding remaining the same. Mr. Thurman, I'm asking you and your staff to take a thorough walkthrough of Redan High School and properly assess their needs and do no less than what Redan is required or what is needed, just like the other high schools. Now, the citizens and the parents at Redan pay taxes like everyone else, but they have not received an equitable return on all of the splosh that they have passed. Please take a walk through and see for yourself before we spend another penny on the inside, so that we will make sure that the money is being spent more effectively and more efficiently. And make sure that we're getting the fullest extent of every penny that we do spend. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Roberts.
Good afternoon, Dr. Thurman, board, the citizens of DeKalb County, and also the students. My name is Terrence Pate, and I am a citizen, concerned parent, and also an alumni of Towers High School. Okay, this is one of the schools that a lot of parents have, or in the area, the school is in the area that a lot of parents have been considered a bad area, what have you. I'm a product of Towers High School. I care about it dearly, and I love that school, but most of all, I love DeKalb County. I'm a resident here, and I've stayed here all my life. So what I'm here to do today is actually make a proposal to the school board for the county to actually implement and get this proposal approved through the schools, to where most of the times when schools are implementing and trying to raise money, the difference between the north side of the county and the south side is the money that's coming into the schools. We already know that. The parents have already said it. So what we're implementing today, or proposing to you guys today, is that you guys take a look at this fundraiser, approve this fundraiser that we have for the schools, because I know, doing my research, that my kids go to Redan Elementary, okay? One is getting ready to go to the middle school. But during their fundraisers, they have approximately over 500 students. They made only $400, okay? And only 20 kids participated. It was a pizza fundraiser, but most fundraisers are geared toward the students, okay, with the kids, the chocolates and things of that nature. We're proposing a fundraiser that's geared toward 80% of the adult population and things of that nature. And when you see the proposal, all the proceeds goes back toward the schools. Okay, so I would just ask you guys to most definitely take a look at this proposal. And to give you an example, if a school has 1,000 students, and if each student in that school only sold one product, the school will make $10,000. I haven't seen one. I've talked to several principals. Matter of fact, I met with Towers High School principal. We met with Redan Middle School principal. We met with Lithonia principal. We were in talks with Stevenson and also Cross Keys. Every last one of those principals love the idea and love the proposal that we have in place. I will be gladly to email you guys the proposal so that way you can take a look at it. I've given one to Dr. Thompson. So you guys most definitely, please, all we're asking is to take a look at it, give it great consideration, let us know. But I'm here today to get this proposal approved because the schools need it. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Pate, for coming. Nikisha Pate. And I missed one. I'm sorry. We'll add Carla Winston Brown. You will be last.
Good afternoon, board. Mr. Thurman. My name is Nikisha Pate, and that was actually my husband that was before me. I am actually a concerned parent, business owner, leader of my church, and also PTA member, and amongst other things that I have been called to, that I answered a call to. Today I am not a speaker, but I am an advocate because I'm also an alumni of DeKalb County. I also attended Towers High School. I attended Lithonia High School. I even graduated and went to open campus. And the reason I'm standing here today is because South DeKalb has had a bad rep, and people have outcast our county, and we have been shamed before the public. And it's time that we put a new face and image out there for DeKalb County. My husband came before you with a proposal. I support his proposal. We see that the schools are lacking a lot of funding. Their textbooks are bad. Even I have kids that are in elementary school, and I'm ashamed that they are not even taking field trips. They are not even going anywhere. They're not being exposed to more than what they're seeing on a daily basis in their classrooms. They don't have enough computers. They don't have iPads. They don't have any of the technology that some of the other schools. There's not a difference between South DeKalb, Central DeKalb, North DeKalb. None of that really makes a difference to me. I believe all the kids should be equal to have all of the things that they need. And I'm a parent today that says that I understand that there has been a separation between parent and student in the homes. And that has been a problem with some of the support, but as a parent, as an advocate to the students, as a PTA person, I say that it is our responsibility for those parents that are not there as coaches, mentors, teachers to stand up for our kids, because it's not their, they didn't ask to come into the situation. This didn't just happen possibly with their parents. It may have been going on before their parents. This may be something generational. So they cannot be the result of something like this. We are supposed to stand up and take some type of initiative. So I think I'm talking to a board that actually cares about the people. It is not about getting any votes or any hand claps or anything like that. It's about making a difference. And it needs to start not by condemning anybody, but coming together and showing unison in our county and making some things happen immediately. It is not tomorrow that it needs to start, but it needs to start today. And I believe that everybody has a role. Every person in this room has stood up and they've spoken, and everybody has a voice, including my kids. If my kids was here today, they would want to be in front of this microphone. And as a matter of fact, my kids have taken initiative, and they started their own program as a result of my husband and I being entrepreneurs. They are called Kid Entrepreneurs. And you'll be proud to know that on career day at Reed Elementary, they were actually spokespeople before the 5th, 3rd, and kindergarten. So thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for coming, Mrs. Pate.
Hello, I am Carla Weston Brown, Mr. Thurman, and members of the board. I come before you again to express my concerns about the harassment, bullying, and unprofessional treatment I received from my principal at Redan Middle School during the 2011-2012 school year, the hostile work environment she created, and the failure of the DeKalb County School District to handle this matter. The DeKalb County School District has allowed one administrator to impact the careers of other educators, and you have taken measures to safeguard her career. You have transferred her to Salem Middle School, and the behaviors continued. You have allowed her to make decisions that are detrimental to the careers and lives of others. When there are numerous grievances filed and over 30 people leave one school in a single year, it becomes necessary to take a serious look at the leadership of that school, especially when the complaints follow the administrator from one school to another. Leadership is not for everyone. Our faculty and staff deserve better. Our kids deserve better. I would like to read 2 quotes to you today. They are as follows. Real integrity is doing the right thing, knowing that nobody's going to know whether you did it or not. Oprah Winfrey. My second quote is, a lie doesn't become truth, wrong doesn't become right, and evil doesn't become good just because it's accepted by the majority. I challenge each of you to bring trust and integrity back to the DeKalb County School District. And this must start with the man or woman in the mirror. I will remain positive, professional, persistent, and present until you do the right thing. I won't back down. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Brown, for coming. This concludes our community input session. I do invite you to stay or come back around 5 after 7 when we start our regular business meeting.